Alright, hello and welcome everybody to the Rusty Misfits Racing League. Falcon Graphics Mini Stocks. We are here, boy am I jealous. The historic North Wilkesboro Motor Speedway in North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about oval track racing, this track is a holy grail of holy grails. You got some of the best names in the sport having raced at this track, and we're going to add to that list of stellar names tonight here. We are just getting ready to go green flag racing in the first of our heat races here as the cars get ready to grid up. Heat race number 1 looks like Larson Parker going to have 6 cars on this field. Larson Parker on pole. Brad Stefane starting outside row. Dustin Buck will bring up the inside of row number 2 with Sean Patrick outside of him. Ray Unk Andrews in that number 13 machine will be bringing up inside of row 3 with Matt Moreau in that 38 Dodge Avenger on the outside line.
Hey Dean, good luck turn 1 and heat 2, by the way. Choo choo! Right at your door.
No brakes on the rake train.
I do apologize for forgetting to turn off the in-game voice chat, but we are getting ready to go green flag racing here. Cars on the pace lap behind that red, white, and blue pace car. Getting ready to go green flag racing here for the first time tonight in the mini stock series. We just finished, if you're paying attention to the All the Dirt broadcast, we just finished an exciting race at Myrtle Beach Speedway in the Legends series. And we are capping off tonight's racing here with the mini stocks. I do have to, before we go too much further, extend a huge shout out to the All the Dirt broadcast team there, Mick Olsen, who is in tonight's event, for covering me for the last couple of weeks while I was out of town for work and unable to cover the broadcast for the last few races. So big thanks to All the Dirt, big thanks to Mick Olsen as we are getting ready to go green flag racing, and there it is. Larson Parker with a good jump, but we are 4 wide going into turn number 1. That's not going to work out very well. They thought better if it got it all straightened out. Dustin Buck giving that 18 car a good push off of turn 2 down the back straightaway, then ducks down to the bottom. Moves that 18 car up in front of the 26 of Sean Patrick. Ooh, and the 18 gets squirrely, gets in the outside wall off the front bumper of, I believe that is Sean Patrick in that 26. No, that's the 26 car on the outside there. I believe that's Bradley Stefane in the middle in the 89 machine. Still 3 wide here for second. Sean Patrick exploring that way outside line. Larson Parker getting out and clear. All this battling has allowed Dustin Buck to pull out to a half-second lead. Oh, sorry, 0.2 of a second over Larson Parker. Now that gap is closing. Larson definitely showing some speed here in the early laps. 3 laps into this heat race here. I do believe we get 8 laps in each heat race as we got Buck way up wide there. Just gets a little bit of that outside wall. Larson Parker, they're looking to retake the lead here. Bradley Stefane in the rear view mirror. That 18 gets a little tight, gets into their door of Buck. They keep it together, don't lose too much time, thankfully. A little further back, Ray Andrews is side by side for 4th place with Sean Patrick. Matt Moreau right in on this battle as well. Anywhere you look on this field, as you see Ray washing up the track a little bit, getting tight, allowing Matt Moreau to get down. They are 3 wide right now. Matt Moreau make a little bit of contact, just about turns that 38. They get it all straightened up against that outside wall. Ray, I don't think is overly happy with that 38, giving a little bit of a bump through turns 1 and 2 that time there. At the front of the pack, Larson Parker out 9/10 of a second ahead of Dustin Buck now, who's got a mirror full of Bradley Stefan. Sean Patrick, meanwhile, has been able to open the gap up on Matt Moreau and Ray Andrews after that little dust up between those three. Little three-wide action there. Got a little bit too close quarters and they made contact. Right now, this is our closest battle on track. Brad Stefan, Dustin Buck. Buck in second, Stefan in third. We know both of these drivers are very fast and very competitive racers. They are not likely to give each other any space, or any more space than they absolutely have to. But what I want to know is just how fast that number 18 car was pedaling there, off to the win in heat race number 1. Now we are getting ready for heat race number 2. Starting pole position in that number 60 machine, we have Logan McNitt with the Thomas the Tank Engine paint scheme. Dean Qualley, very strong driver right there in that number 17 machine, starting outside pole. Then we got Hunter Wellman in that 64 car, starting inside of row 2 with Justin Walbring, bringing up that 666 machine on the outside. Bringing up the back of this field, Mr. All of the Dirt himself, Mick Olson. Once again, huge shout out to Mick for covering the broadcast here for the Legends and the Mini Stock Series the last couple of weeks. We couldn't have done it without you. Once again, going to be another 8-lap heat race here for these guys to figure out exactly where they are going to line up for our feature event. "75 laps in the feature race. This race will set the outside line. First race set the inside line. We will now find out where these guys will stack up for that outside row. Looks like we have 11 cars in today's race. A pretty solid mini stock field with a lot of fast and competitive drivers. So let's see what they can make happen here in 8 laps. Pace car is about to pull off, giving the control over to Logan McNitt in that 60 machine. Green flag in the air. Great start by that 17 on the outside line. Dean Qualley to the lead over McNitt. Looks like Walbring is following that 17 car through on the outside. McNitt not having that great of a initial start there. Going to find himself falling back to third, trying to fight back on the inside of Walbring. Manages to sneak by, and it's a drag race at the line. Now they're 3 wide going into turn 1. Wellman getting into McNitt and sending that 666 machine spinning. 3 wide is hard to make work here as they are looking to go 3 wide once again into turn 3. This time they managed to do it cleanly. Hunter Wellman that first time by, unfortunately getting up there. Getting into the door of that 60, pushing them up into the 666 car. Walbring sending Walbring around and out of this heat race. All that battling at the point there for second. That's allowed Dean to just drive on away here. Logan McNitt in second right now. Hunter Wellman and Mick Olson still side by side right behind him, trying to reel in that 60 car. Not quite able to do it there. Wellman able to sneak ahead of that 75, secure third place for the moment being. Wellman definitely has some experience at this track. He ran in a charity race earlier, running the super lates at this track, and finished third in a very tough car track combination. So we should see that. Keep an eye on that 64 to do pretty well here in the less powerful mini stocks. But at the moment here, it's all Dean Qualley up on point. Great start for that 17 team. Great run all the way through this race here. Coming to the line, there'll be 3 laps to go. Dean Qualley 1.5 seconds ahead of that 60 car of Logan McNitt, as we got Hunter Wellman way up outside on that outside wall. That's going to allow the 75, Mick Olson, to sneak around him for third. Wellman looking to make a crossover move down the back straightaway. Didn't have the momentum to get down there on the inside of that 75 machine. Now he's looking to the high side, coming through 3 and 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't remember, but I do believe 3 and 4, you are going down a hill to get into that corner. Coming up into 1, you are going uphill. White flag in the air, though. Dean Qualley out on cruise control at the moment. Logan McNitt has been closing in, but not enough, and will have to settle for second. Mick Olofsson's going to hold on to third just over Hunter Wellman. And Walbring not able to complete this heat race. Luckily, he is going to have another chance as we get ready to go. Green flag racing, ladies and gentlemen, here. 75 laps at the legendary historic track that this is, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Let's go through our starting lineup. Larson Parker on pole position, winning heat race number 1, gets the best starting spot in the grid in that little Tykes pedal car, with Dean Qualley outside of him. Row 2 sees Dustin Buck in that 68 blue and white machine with Logan McNitt on his outside. Bradley Stefane starts inside row 3 with that 89 car with the 75 and Mick Olofsson on his outside in 6th position. Sean Patrick in that 26 car starts row 4 inside with Hunter Wellman outside of him. Then we see Matt Moreau starting inside of row 5 with, let's see here, Hunter Wellman outside of him. Bringing up the back of this pack is Ray Andrews by the looks of it. As we get ready to go green flag racing, 75 laps here. It's going to be a test of patience, a test of not overdoing yourself here. This can be a bit of a tricky track to get around, but when you get it right, man, does it feel good. Like I said at the top of the broadcast, I am really jealous of these guys getting to race. I wish I could be out there racing with them, but I'm up here in the booth with you guys broadcasting tonight's event, so. But I'm looking forward to 75 laps of hard-fought racing. We saw a little bit in the heat races, them going 3, even looking 4 wide a couple of times. So it's going to be a racy little track with these little mini stocks. Should be getting ready to go green flag racing here now. The pace car pulling off. Larson Parker in control. Green flag in the air. Good start on that inside row, and we got a car starting to go around. We got a car in the wall. All kinds of action here in the mid-pack as we got Ray Andrews getting turned around off the nose of Hunter Wellman. We have a caution flag on the track already. Ladies and gentlemen, you remember what I said about patience? Well, these guys didn't really show too much patience here. Let's see if you can see what happened to Ray Andrews. They just all over the place here. We got the 17 into the wall, 75 just about getting turned. And it just causes a bottleneck there. Hunter Wellman thought there was a gap for a millisecond there to get to the inside of the 13 machine, but that gap just was not there. Unfortunately got into the back corner of that 13 car and turned him around. Yellow flag back out here. Dustin Buck going around. Oh, sorry, there was no yellow flag for that first incident. But looks like there's some action going on at the front of the pack here. Dustin Buck going around 3 wide a little bit there. Larson Parker getting into the rear quarter. Yeah, they tried looking 3 wide there, but the gap closed on Stefan. And that ended up with a 68 going around and into that outside wall. Now Dustin having to play catch up here at the back of this pack. Andrews is going to be the big beneficiary of that caution flag. He lost a lot of time going around when he did with no yellow flag coming out. He is going to be able to come back up and catch back up to the back of this pack now. But this is going to have to be a little bit more patience on these drivers' part. We're only 4 laps into this race, and we've already had pretty much every one of these cars getting turned sideways at some point already tonight. See Dustin Buck on pit road there, trying to sneak out ahead of the pace car. Looks like he just manages it. Looks like Walbring once again on pit road. I don't know if he got any part of that. Let's take a look here. See if we can see what happened to that 666 machine. It's showing him as crashed, but well, he just pulled over and stopped for some reason. But looks like we should be getting ready to go back green flag racing here. I'm going to guess they're going to get white 1 to green this time by. It does appear like the lights are out on that pace car. These guys are very loosely double filed up there. They're going to want to tighten it up before we get to the green here. Larson Parker on the point, Brad Stefan on his outside, Sean Patrick moving up a few places. Matt Moreau currently our biggest mover, up 5 positions from his starting spot as we go back green flag racing. Sean Patrick got caught sleeping a little bit there, but decent start from Larson Parker. Bradley Stefan almost able to keep up with him on that outside line, but he's going to fall just a little bit short. Sean Parker, Matt Moreau's fighting side by side for third place here. You've got Brad Stefan on that high outside line there, trying to get the momentum past here. It looks like he beat Parker to the line that time by. Still side by side for the lead. Stefan on the outside, Parker in that little Tykes machine on the inside, just a pedaling away. Parker with the advantage that time off of turn 4 there. Just about cleared the 89, but Brad with a good jump to that outside, getting into 1 and 2. Manages to get back alongside as we got a car on the outside wall a little further back. Dustin Buck trying to make his way back up through the field here after getting spun out on that initial caution flag. Side by side all the way through the field here as we got contact there. Dean Qualley just about getting spun off the nose of that 26 car. That's going to cost Dean all of his positions. Back to the back of this field. But look at this gaggle, ladies and gentlemen. 6, 7 cars all under a blanket. 3 wide, 2 wide, sideways, inside, outside, 4 wide a little bit here. So we got a big stack up coming off of turn 2. Dean Qualley going all the way around. Matt Moreau losing control, catching Hunter Wellman. Yellow flag back out for the second time. And ladies and gentlemen, Dean Qualley not having a very good race so far here right now. Let's see if we could take a look back here at what happened. We just got 7 cars all in a row here. They get a little bit 4 wide. Dean tried to move up a little bit, I believe that was Mick Olofsson. A little bit of room. Mick Olofsson or Ray Andrews, one of the two. And there was just no room for him to move up. I don't think he realized that there were 2 cars on his outside there. Let's take a quick look at that from let's see if we can see it from Dean Qualley's. Coming through 1 and 2 here. Gets a good run on that 13 machine of Ray Andrews. Tried to go up to avoid him. Ray got a little bit of that grass, and there's just 2 cars on his outside. Right now at the front though, Brad Stefan being scored. Our race leader, Larson Parker in 3rd. That little Thomas the Tank Engine car number 60 of Logan McNitt in 3rd right now. Dustin Buck back up to 4th. Then we got Mick Olsen being scored in 5th place. Dean Qualley on and off pit road, getting a little bit of damage repair, maybe it's a little bit of fresh rubber. Getting ready to retake the restart here. We're 15 laps into this race at the line as they cross. Got another 60 laps to go. They got a long time to go before this race is over, and it's been action-packed already. Getting ready to go back green flag racing. Pace car should be pulling off this time. Brad Stefan in that 89 car on the inside. Larson Parker on the outside. Green flag in the air. Drag race down the front straightaway. I think Parker was just slightly ever ahead of that 89 machine at the line, but Brad slides up a little bit, tries to make it harder for that 18 car to get the run down the back straightaway. Rub doors a little bit going into 3. As we see, I believe that is the 26 car and the 60 going washing wide off of turn number 4 here, causing a huge cluster once again going into turn 1. Hunter Wellman, Dean Qualley once again in the middle of a pack they probably don't want to be in the middle of. Let's hop on board with that 13 car, Ray Andrews, as he is fighting side by side with Sean Patrick there. Sean Patrick washes way wide going through 1 and 2, allows that 13 to get back to the inside. Ray obviously giving him plenty of space there, staying a little lower than he really even needed to. Back up front, Dustin Buck up into 3rd once again. Going from the back to the front, proving that it can be done. Mick Olofsson coming kind of out of nowhere, running in 4th. As we see Buck looking to the inside, trying to take 2nd place away from Parker. Dives it hard into 1, just about washes up into that 18. That 18 was aware of that move. Did give that 68 machine enough space to slide up, luckily enough, but that's almost going to cost the 18. And it does. Buck clearing Parker for 2nd. But right now, this is the biggest lead we've seen so far all night. Bradley Stefan up in 1st. 7/10, almost 3/4 of a second ahead of 2nd place, Dustin Buck. Mick Olofsson challenging that 18 car for 3rd place and takes it away. Logan McNitt looking to the outside. That 18 car is just bleeding positions at the moment, but he is looking to try to retake 3rd place back from Olofsson. Down to the inside, able to get down there. There's drag race down the back straightaway. Mick Olofsson not quite able to hold on to it though. Parker back to 3rd. There is a challenge behind though. Andrews, Qualley, McNitt, all right there. Olofsson cannot let that door stay open, and he does successfully close it on McNitt for the moment, but McNitt looks like he's got a racing machine. See him close that gap up to that back bumper of the 75, give him a little bit of a bump going into turn 3 there. Top 3 have kind of spread out right now. Stefan at the front, Buck kind of starting to reel in that 89 car. Parker kind of falling back on Buck though. And then another gap back to Mick Olofsson in 4th. McNitt, Qualley looking to the inside of that 60 machine, trying to get 5th place away. Side by side for 5th. Qualley looking to try to make something happen there for 4th as well, with Olofsson being right in front of that front bumper of the 60 car. Looking to the inside, Mick tried to close the door. Was aware the 17 was there, gave him enough room, but Dean had to slow himself down to make sure, because it didn't look like that 75 was going to open that door. McNitt in danger of losing another position here to the 13 car, Ray Andrews. Andrews trying to follow Qualley through with Sean Patrick following him behind. Looks like that 60 car is in trouble of getting freight trained on that outside line. You know, kind of funny with him being a Thomas the Tank Engine paint job and having that train rolling him on the lower line. He manages to get down there right between Ray and Quali. Challenging Quali back again for that 5th place. Quali not able to make any movements so far against that 75 machine. Doing everything he can though, and he gets around now. Quali up to 4th ahead of Mick Olofsson. Still a big cluster of cars right here, 6 on back. Up front though, the top 3 have closed up again, and it is a fight for the lead. Dustin Buck on the inside, Stefan stuck on that outside line. Parker back on the back bumper of these two. Parker and Buck and Stefan probably battling it out there, slowing themselves down, allowed that 18 car to close in, and that's going to, they keep battling like this, it's going to allow the 17 and the rest of this group to catch back up to them. Side by side all the way down the back straightaway. Stefan slightly ahead through 3 and 4. Buck has a better momentum initially, but that was so close to tell at the line. I believe Stefan just edged the 68 machine at the line, even if just. Side by side, 3 cars deep here. Or 3 cars in this battle for the lead. Once again, Stefan just slightly edging that 68 car across the line. Dean Quali though loving what he's seeing ahead of him. Seeing those leaders battle it out as we are 3 wide behind. Patrick, Moreau, Andrews. Andrews getting a little taste of that outside wall, getting a good run on Moreau on the inside there. Right now, the battle for the lead's kind of cooled down. Stefan's kind of claimed it, but Buck once again holding off a charge from Larson Parker to get back to the inside of that 89 car. Good run for that 68 down the back straightaway. In fact, he is going to lead this time across the line by a nose over that 89 machine. Bradley finding a lot of momentum on that outside line. Parker looking to try to make it 3 wide on that bottom. Down into turn 3, they are 3 wide for a moment there. Parker backing out of it, probably wisely. We are only just coming up to the halfway point of the race. You'd think these guys were racing on the last lap, every lap, the way these guys are fighting right now. Stefan making that outside, that higher line work. Buck not able to get an advantage momentarily, but Buck getting a lot of momentum on that outside line. Not enough that time. Buck led across the line, but still side by side, fairly even down onto the back straightaway. In fact, the advantage would be given to Stefan that time, halfway down the back straight. Give the lead, or the lap lead to Stefan that time across the line. Meanwhile, back in the pack, everything's kind of settled down here. Matt Moreau, Mick Olofsson, Hunter Wellman, all single filed out at the moment. Ray Andrews looking to try to make a move on Sean Patrick. Matt Moreau looking on the outside of Olofsson, nothing doing there. Still got a battle for the lead here. Let's hop on board with Larson Parker down to come down into turn number 1. They have once again kind of gotten single file for the moment being. Buck falling into line behind Stefan. First, second, third here, still bumper to bumper going into 3 and 4 the last or next time around here. See Stefan getting a little bit of the outside wall. As we see Buck once again going to the inside. Stefan clearing Stefan that time around. Now Stefan's got to deal with the 18 car Larson Parker. Stefan was able to make that outside line work pretty good for him before, but was not ready for that lunge from the 68. 68 with a strong move to the inside. In fact, Stefan's going to fall back to third now. Still battle though. These guys are running very similar lap times. In fact, Buck and Parker last time across the line were 1/100th of a second difference in their lap times. So you see the 18 giving a little bit of a bumper there to the 68 machine, trying to hurry him up through that corner. Now he's going to look to the inside at turn 1. Side by side off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Stefan catching a little bit of that outside wall here. He's trying to make that outside line work again, trying to follow Buck across on the outside. Now he looks to the bottom. Big battle here for the lead. 30 laps to go at the line. The laps are starting to wind down here. Dean Qualley, in the meantime, has a bit of a battle on his hands. Logan McNitt has caught up to him. So has Hunter Wellman. They are now trying to work Qualley for 4th position. So we see Stefan moving down to that inside line. Manages to sneak around the 68. 68 doing the crossover. Catches a bit of that grass. Does a good job keeping that car under him. You hit that grass with those left side tires, you may as well hop on ice. It's an easy way to lose control of these cars, and Dustin Buck does an admirable job keeping that car pointed straight. Dean Qualley still holding off McNitt and Wellman for 4th. In fact, Wellman giving that 17 machine a solid push down the front straightaway. Sorry, down the back straightaway, my bad. But now has to hold off that 60 car on his inside. Larson Parker out to the lead now. Dustin and Stefan fighting a little bit too much. That's going to allow that 18 car to open up a very small gap. Not the biggest lead we've seen so far tonight, but we've also seen these leads diminish in a hurry. In fact, we see Stefan closing in a little bit on that 18. Wellman has managed to get around that 17 car. We've seen him pushing pretty hard the last couple of laps. Now we know that Qualley there in that 17 machine, they are a very smart, very conscientious driver. They usually try not to get into battles that they're not needing to get into. But laps are winding down, 25 to go at the line here. It is going to be time to start pushing a little bit, you'd think. Buck has once again gotten around the 89 and Stefan for 2nd. Stefan going to settle down in 3rd there, just a couple of car lengths ahead of him to Buck. Buck's got a few car lengths ahead of him though to close up on that Parker car. Parker must be just a pedal in that little Takes car to get it going out so fast and get it to the lead. Although last time across the line, Dustin Buck was the fastest of the cars in the top 3. Dean Qualley, however, Logan McNitt, the fastest car on track that last time across the line, 21.08. Dustin Buck was a 21.11. Parker and Stefan both at 21.23s. Still can be anyone's race here. In fact, Buck's been slowly reeling in that leader. Has been running slightly better lap times the last few times across. Would have to be hard to believe these guys have much left for tires under them the way they have been battling the entire race. Wellman and McNitt both haven't gotten around Qualley, but Qualley is known for saving tires till it matters most. Matt Moreau closing in on that 17 machine though, looking to try to get 6th position away. A little bit further back here we got Mick Olofsson just ahead of Sean Patrick and Ray Andrews. Andrews looking to try to get one position away from Sean Patrick. They're not going to be able to get there this time though. But these guys are going to have a few laps, and they're going to have leaders to contend with. Larson Parker about a straightaway behind. See Dustin Buck doing everything he can to get to that 18 car. They are very, very close to each other at the moment. Only about a car length, half car length between the two of them. Riding along with Dustin Buck right now. About 0.3 of a second back from Parker. A nice long green flag run going on here right now, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are putting on some insane racing at the moment. Everything's kind of settled down for the next couple laps anyways, but I'm sure we'll see these guys get back together. Buck's definitely got a little bit of something for that 18 car. Meanwhile, Hunter Wellman here kind of quietly running in 4th place there. He's been able to open up the gap behind him to that Logan McNick car, but hasn't really been able to do much to reel in that 89 to try to get that last podium position. But it's hard to say. We might not be done with cautions yet. Sean Patrick here riding in 9th right now. He has closed that gap up a little bit to Mick Olsen. Dean Qualley, however, continuing to lose positions. Matt Moreau haven't gotten around him here a couple of laps ago. This is still our closest battle, and it's for the lead. Parker's still up there. Dustin Buck right behind him. Last few times across the line, they have been running fairly similar lap times, but Buck has been consistently a couple of hundredths of a second faster. Buck's managing to maintain a very similar, consistent distance behind that 18 car. He has not been able to close it up as much as I'm sure he would like. That's got to be frustrating for him, but they are going to have lap traffic here. But they are under 10 laps to go now. They have lap traffic ahead of them that might well become a factor in this race for the lead. Bradley Stefan has slowly faded back. He might have worn off his tires a little bit too much fighting Dustin Buck on that outside. In fact, Hunter Wellman slowly starting to reel that gap in there. But time might be running out for that 64 machine unless there is a mistake off of that 89 car. But ladies and gentlemen, right now, it's Larson Parker, Dustin Buck show. Running 1-2. But the lap traffic, Ray Andrews right ahead of our leaders, and we got Mick Olsen, Sean Patrick battling for position just ahead of Andrews. This could cause issues for our leaders. We see Andrews going way up high. He's trying to give the leaders a little bit of space. Andrews not wanting to be a factor in the race win there, getting up and out of the way of our two leaders right now. Very polite, nice move out of Andrews in that 13 machine. But they got Mick Olsen, Sean Patrick fighting for position just ahead of them now. These two aren't going to be as willing to get up and out of the way. They have their own race to run. Hunter Wellman still in fourth. That gap staying pretty steady ahead of him. But now our leader has caught up to Mick Olofsson. We're about to put him a lap down, luckily for Parker. And that battle between Olofsson and Patrick kind of died down there. Mick got up and out of the way. Kind of held up the 68 of Dustin Buck ever so slightly, though. That's going to open up the gap between the two leaders just a little bit. As we are now 3 laps to go into tonight's race here. Laps winding down. Larson Parker has this one on lock. If he doesn't make a mistake getting around Sean Patrick, he gets around cleanly. Now Dustin Buck has to do the same. Dustin, though, running out of time as they come around to start on lap number 74. 2 laps to go. Sean Patrick still fighting second place. Dustin Buck a little bit there. Buck not able to get clear. That is going to kill his chances very, very hard as we come off of turn number 4. White flag in the air. One more time around. All Larson has to do, and we see Dustin washing way wide coming through 1 and 2. Oh, sorry, that was checkered flag in the air. Never mind. Larson Parker with the win. Dustin Buck finishing second. Bradley Stefan holding on to third. Hunter Wellman, Logan McNitt round out your top 5. Then you got Matt Moreau, Dean Qualley, Sean Patrick, Mick Olsen, Ray Andrews, and Justin Walbring not able to finish tonight's event. Unfortunate for that 666 car. He just has not had very great luck here this season, unfortunately. But an exciting race at the front of the pack, in the middle of the pack, at the back of the pack. It didn't really seem to matter where you looked during this event. A lot of hard-fought racing, 2, 3, sometimes even almost poking it 4 wide. I knew this race would be an exciting one. I do firmly believe that we are not leaving here disappointed. It was for sure an exciting event. Now we are just waiting for our top 3 to get up into the waiting room here. Let's take a quick look at how they came into tonight's point standings. Larson Parker, 2 wins on the season. That is putting him in the top position going into tonight. Tonight's win's definitely going to help him out. He had 281 points. Well, he's going to leave that with a little bit of a bigger gap over second place Dean Qualley, who did not have a very strong run. Finished 7th tonight, unfortunately, so that's going to open the gap between Dean Qualley and Larson Parker. Matt Moreau in 3rd with 256 points. Austin Strang, who was not able to attend tonight, in 4th, 236. Mick Olofsson with 231. Definitely going to shake up the point standings a little bit. But why don't we bring in our 3rd place finisher there, Mr. Brad Stefan, in that 89 machine there, coming home 3rd. How are you feeling right now, Brad?
Not too bad. Pretty decent. Didn't think I'd be up here, to be honest, because I don't do the floor bangers quite often, but it feels good, man.
Well, you definitely put on a show with the with Buck and Parker up there, racing side by side for quite a bit of that middle section of the race.
Yeah, we go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask, but you go ahead there. It sounds like you had something to say.
Yeah, we were battling there. It was pretty fun time. And then we were 3 wide. I don't exactly remember what happened. You know, as many laps ago, a couple beers ago. But you know, we were 3 wide. Me, Larson, and Dustin. I believe, and I shot the gap. I had plenty of room. I don't know if Dustin didn't realize we're 3 wide. It's no harm, no foul. I mean, I didn't get the worst end of it. He was a little bit upset. Um, is what it is, I guess. But had a lot of fun. Um, I just wish these races were maybe 50 laps instead of 75. It's kind of long, but I had a great time.
Well, you know, going into tonight's race here at North Wilkesboro, I kind of expected an exciting race. You guys definitely didn't disappoint, and yeah, we saw a lot of 3, almost 4 wide at several points throughout tonight's race, and we saw those gaps open up and then close almost instantly, right when you thought you had that chance to stick your nose in there. And I think that's exactly what happened with you, Buck, and Parker there when you tried to go 3 wide. Is that gap was there for a millisecond and it closed up right quick.
Right, I was, you know, coming out of the corner, exiting, and you know, obviously, you know, like you said, there's a gap there, and then, you know, you try to fit into it. Everyone kind of converges because that's just what you do. It's racing, and yeah, like I said, it is what it is. No harm, no foul, no big deal. Um, but yeah, it was great. Everyone was pretty quick, and I'm glad we get to put on a pretty good show for everyone.
Absolutely, and you did fall back a little bit there. Did you wear your tires maybe a little bit too much fighting with Buck and Parker, or what was going on? Were you just kind of laying back and relaxing
Pro,
after?
pro, yeah, probably. I mean, like I said, oh, sorry, I don't race these very often, and I mean that my tires were squealing the whole race, so I was definitely using them and abusing them. And I figured that higher line would kind of work out for me later in the race, but we were just, you know, we were pushing, we were trying to go fast, and you know, we just wore them a little quicker than the other 2 guys, I guess.
Well, and we got to see if we can find something to slow those 2 down. You know, Larson's pretty damn quick there, both in both Tuesday night races. You know, Legends he won earlier tonight in the Legend Series race at Myrtle Beach. He's won again here at North Wilkesboro in the minis. We got to find a way to handicap that driver a little bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something. We're gonna have to talk to iRacing, maybe put like some kind of barrier out there for him at random point in the race. But other than that, I think it's gonna be pretty impossible to stop him. But we'll see.
Absolutely. Well, do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to there, Brad? There on that car of yours.
Hanksters Motorsports, Michael Steele for making this for me. You in the booth for doing a great broadcast, and all the boys here with the Rusty Misfits League. We'll be back next week or whatever. So
Absolutely. All right, Brad. Well, congratulations on 3rd place there. Thanks for putting on a show for the fans tonight. It was awesome watching it.
yeah, glad we can do that for everyone. Take care, and we'll see you shortly. See you next week.
Absolutely. Alrighty. Well, let's bring in our 2nd place finisher, driving that number 68 blue and white machine, Dustin Buck. Coming up just a little bit shy there on Larson Parker, but you're definitely giving him grief. What more did you need to try to get back up to him there?
I had a spin on my tires and a minute of damage. I don't know how much that factors into it, but you spin out and it takes a few percent off your tires. And I was able to hang. My 3 and 4 seemed like it was better than him or always equal to it, and I was just having a little bit of a problem setting it on entry over in 1, and I was sliding the front just a tiny bit, and he wasn't, and that was kind of the difference. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a spin on my tires, and maybe I'm 500 quicker. I don't know. It is what it is.
Well, I was just going to say, up here in the booth, watching the computer scoring system there, that spin on your tires didn't really seem to show much in the lap times. You were consistently, if not matching Parker, you're usually a half tenth to a tenth faster. So
Yeah, but those spins they always take a little something out. And I don't have any experience in these cars really to know what a spin would do, but I couldn't burn the only set of tires at the start there. Seemed like my tire game was okay. I just, I don't know. And then I had like 49 seconds of damage I had to fix. So I don't know how much that factors in with these cars, but between the spin and the damage that I did have, I'm sure it affected a little bit. And then I had to pass everyone to get to second and the lead and stuff like that. So there's those laps on the tires too. But I was trying to take it easy, getting my way to the front. There's so many laps. You got all the time in the world. There's no sense of rushing things when, there's like 60 laps to go. You just settle in. And, for a while there, I thought Larson was going to be working on Stefan, and I was just riding behind him, let him work, because there's no pressure. And then he said he was just riding, so I passed him. And, and when I was underneath Stefan, I wasn't even pushing the car. I was still trying to save tire, and with him on the outside, I knew he was using more of his tires than I was, and I was still just kind of throwing it in there somewhat softly, and I wasn't gonna burn my stuff up passing him, and I just figured the longer he was outside, the more he was burning on his stuff, and kind of seemed to be the case.
Well, if that's you saving tire and equipment there, Dustin, I kind of hate to see you when you turn that wick up to 10, because it did not look like you were saving it. It looked like you were fighting everything you could to get up to that front, and you definitely had a very fast car tonight, especially, if you say you don't have a lot of experience in these mini stocks. So a lack of experience did not show in your driving tonight.
Yeah, really, that was my second race. But they're fun. I like when you get later in the run and the tires are burned off, and you really gotta play with the momentum. My biggest problem was is when I was overdriving once very slightly, and it bogged down my RPMs enough that like I I couldn't do anything with Larson Parker off those corners. And then, like I said, I mean, I was better in 3 and 4, but the 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 slight bit of overdriving I was doing in 1 and 2, I couldn't get it corrected. And when I tried to back up the corner a little bit, I'd back it up too much and he'd pull away from me. So I mean, he just outdrove me and did a really good job, and I just got beat.
Well, we know that 18 car is pretty solidly quick, and pretty much any car we've thrown him in so far, you definitely have to bring your A game to get ahead of that Larson Parker driver.
Oh yeah, yeah, and that's why I said it'd been nice to see how things shook out, where I didn't have to drive through the field, and because if I'd been out front, or maybe been able to pass those guys early, or just the yellow not come out, I don't know. Our lap times were so close there at the end that simply being in front of them might have been the difference maker. But who knows? You never know. And we turned the laps for a reason. And I I had to come from the back and still finish second. I'll take that, because it's hard to beat somebody like Larson when you got to do extra work and pass extra cars.
Absolutely, but you put on a heck of a show out there tonight for the fans at home. It was a great race to watch. It didn't seem to matter where we looked on the track. There was action going on 2, 3 wide pretty much the entire day.
Yeah, it was pretty clean racing when people calm down a little bit. Early on, there's no sense in forcing stuff the way that it was getting done. But I like to be around at the end of these things, and you do so by making timely passes and choices. And when you got 75 laps to go, it's kind of, I don't know. I run my race car, and I guess everybody else runs theirs.
You betcha. All right, Dustin, you got anyone on that car you want to give a shout out to?
Just thanks, Dean, and you for doing the broadcast here, and everybody that's got a hand in running these races and doing points and throwing everything together. And I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll come out for another one. Summer's starting to speed up here for me, so might have to cut back on the iRacing.
Well, real life racing seasons are kicking off all across North America. I know my local track this weekend's our opening weekend. I can't wait for that. And yeah, it's going to have to scale back just a little bit, won't it?
Yep. So I'll let you go here. Appreciate the interview, and congrats to Parker on his good run, and we'll take second place, and that's the I'll take second place all day long. So when you get beat by somebody good like Parker, there's nothing wrong with second.
No, and sometimes finishing behind him, you can learn a trick or two you can apply for the next race.
Very true.
All right, Dustin, congratulations on second, and hopefully we'll see you back out here again.
Yeah, have a good one.
Alrighty, now the man of the night, Larson Parker, making it 2 for 2 once again out there. Larson, you got to be getting pretty tired of sitting up on that top step of the podium.
Sometimes. Depends on if it's a good day or a bad day.
Well, I'm going to think that we can chalk this day up to one of the good ones.
Yeah, no, I'd say today was a pretty good night for racing.
Yeah, you were pedaling that little Tykes car as hard as you could. You had to earn it a little bit tonight there. Both Stefan and Buck were giving you a little bit of a fit there in that middle section of the race, especially during that long green flag run there at the end. But you still managed to find a way to come out on top.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna get racy up there, so I was just kind of letting those two battle because I know Wilkesboro's hard on the tires, and then mini stocks just barely have tires on them in the first place. So I was just trying to ride and let them battle for most of the night. I even fell back a couple spots and took the risk on it, and it ended up working out for me.
Absolutely, and we definitely are used to seeing that 18 car up at the front the entire race. So seeing you fall back, especially now that you said you intentionally fell back that little bit just to save a little bit of equipment for the end. It's not the normal strategy we see from you.
No, not usually. No, I try to keep it up front and try to save tires that way, just so I have to race less people and less side by side racing. But I've turned enough laps here at Wilkesboro in a super late model to kind of know that it's like a cheese grater on the tires. So you really got to save at this track.
Well, it is a fairly old surface out there, and old surfaces are pretty much, like you said, a cheese grater on those tires. And when you got a very narrow slick that these mini stocks do, yeah, they don't have much rubber to spare.
No, not at all. It feels like you lay all of the rubber into the track in the first 5 laps, and then the last 70 you have nothing.
But even still, with the difficulty on the tires that this track can be, you guys were putting on some great racing. A little bit of impatience at the beginning, but still some good solid 2-3 wide racing there in that middle section when we went green right to the end.
Oh yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed racing these. It's fun racing these with other like people on the track because sometimes these cars just feel like you're slow no matter what. So having other people out there battling makes them feel fast again.
Well, and I've said, especially with the Miatas on the road course side of things, they're a slow car, but when you actually get a group of guys that are fairly similarly competitive, they are a blast to go out there and race. Not because they're slow, but because they handle just in that right way that makes them fun.
Yeah, it's always a challenge with these cars, and I'm always up for a challenge. So.
All right, Larson. Well, I won't hold you here too long, I don't think, tonight. I'm sure you got a few names on that little Tykes car you want to give a shout out for helping making that thing, I don't know, pedal so fast?
Oh yeah, little Tykes really got the weight reduction right with this one. This thing flies when you do it just right.
Well, when it's just sheer plastic, right?
Oh yeah, it's hard to be heavy with plastic.
All right, Larson. Well, congratulations on the win. That was an exciting race from the start to the finish. Dustin gave you a little bit of grief there towards the end, but you came out on top, and I can't wait to see what next week brings now.
Yeah, hopefully it goes just as good as this one for me.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping in the Legend Series you have a little bit more issues. I got some points to try to catch up on y'all here. I missed a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, maybe I'll maybe throw in a money shift or something for you.
I'd appreciate that because I hate Oxford Plains. I'm not going to do well there next week.
Ooh, I like that track too much to throw that one.
All right. Well, Larson, congratulations on the win.
Hey, thank you, Tom.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that'll bring us to the end of tonight's broadcast. An exciting race, just as I thought it was going to be here at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Rusty Misfits Racing League Falcon Graphics Pavement Mini Stocks. We will be returning next week here. If you give me 1 second, I'll take a look at where our schedule is. We will be at Five Flags Speedway next week to continue on. Larson Parker extending his points lead just ever so slightly over Dean Qualley, who did not have quite the run that he is normally used to. So we'll have to keep an eye on those point standings and see how things end up. But I will call it a night here. My name's Tom Quiring. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, and see you guys next week.